Stevenage Football Club is a professional association football club based in Stevenage, Hertfordshire. The club participates in League Two, the fourth tier in the English Football League system. They play their home games at Broadhall Way in Stevenage. Founded in 1976 following the demise of the town's former club, they joined the United Counties League in 1980 and enjoyed instant success, winning the United Counties League Division 1 and the United Counties League Cup in the club's first year of formation. Following 3 promotions in 4 seasons in the early 1990s, the club were promoted to the Conference National in 1994. Despite winning the league in the 1995 Euro 96 season, the club were denied promotion to the Football League due to insufficient ground facilities. Stevenage were finally promoted to the Football League after winning the Conference National in the 2009 Euro 10 season. On securing Football League status, the club dropped the word Borough from its title. Stevenage earned back-to-back promotions when they beat Torquay United 1-0 at Old Trafford in the 2010 Euro 11 playoff final. The club has also enjoyed success in National Cup competitions in recent years, becoming the first team to win a competitive final at the new Wembley Stadium in 2007, beating Kidderminster Harriers 3-2 to lift the FA Trophy in front of a competition record crowd of 53,262. The club won the competition again in 2009, beating York City 2-0 in the final. History. Stevenage Borough were formed in 1976 following the bankruptcy of Stevenage Athletic. Chairman Keith Berners, and a number of like-minded volunteers were tasked with arranging a team to play Hitchin Town Youth at Broadhall Way in November 1976, as a curtain raiser for the new club. However, the Broadhall Way pitch was subsequently dug up for non-footballing purposes after the council sold the land to a local businessman, who dug a trench across the full length of the pitch to ensure no football was played. Consequently, the new club started out playing in the Chiltern Youth League on a roped-off pitch at the town's King George V playing fields, and moved up to intermediate status joining the Wolfspan Southern Combination shortly after. In 1980, the club reacquired the lease for Broadhall Way and the asset passed on to Stevenage Borough Council, who in turn allowed the football club to become its tenant. The club were also granted consent to incorporate the name Borough in their title and to adopt the Town Euro 1 registered trademark civic emblem as the club badge. With the council as their landlords and a refurbished stadium, Stevenage Borough took on senior status and joined the United Counties Football League in the same year. The club's first competitive league match was a 3-1 victory over Owen Chinex on August 16, 1980, played in front of 421 people. In their first season as a senior club, the side won the United Counties League Division 1 Championship, scoring over 100 goals en route to taking the title. The club also secured the United Counties League Cup the same season. After 3 successive seasons in the United Counties Premier Division, the club joined Division 2 North of the Isthmian League in 1984, and the following season earned promotion to Division 1 after finishing the season as champions. However, 2 years later the club were relegated back to the Division 2 North, having finished second bottom of the division. After 2 fourth-placed finishes, under the new management of Paul Fairclough, the club won promotion during the 1990 Euro 91 campaign, winning 34 of their 42 games, including every match played at home, scoring 122 goals and amassing 107 points. The following season, the club won the Division 1 championship, remaining unbeaten at home again, and were promoted to the Isthmian Premier Division. The club's long unbeaten home record was finally ended by Dulwich Hamlet, with the streak lasting 44 matches, of which 42 were won. During the 1993 Euro 94 season, Stevenage won the Premier Division, and were subsequently promoted to the Football Conference. 2 seasons later, they won the conference, but were denied promotion to the Football League, due to insufficient ground facilities, thus reprieving Torquay United, who had finished bottom of Division 3. During the same season, the Hertfordshire club reached the first round of the FA Cup for the first time, but lost to a Euro 1 to 3rd Division side Hereford United at Edgar Street. The 1996 Euro 97 season witnessed the club progress to the third round of the FA Cup for the first time after a 2-1 win against Leyton Orient at Brisbane Road. The side were drawn against Birmingham City at Broadhall Way, but ground issues saw the tie switch to St Andrews. Birmingham won the match 2-0. The following season, the club went one better, reaching the fourth round, where they drew Premier League club Newcastle United. A temporary stand was erected behind the away end to house the Newcastle supporters, which increased the stadium capacity to 9,000, enough to satisfy the FA. Borough held Newcastle to a 1-1 draw, with Giuliano Grazioli famously equalising after Alan Shearer had put Newcastle ahead. Stevenage were unfortunate to lose 2-1 in the replay at St James Park, losing to a goal from Alan Shearer that appeared to not cross the line. Despite earning a vast amount of revenue from the two respective cup runs, news emerged that the club were in financial difficulties and that the chairman, Victor Green, was going to close the club down if no buyer was found. However, after several weeks of uncertainty, Phil Wallace purchased the club and set about rebuilding the finances and the relationship with the local council. In 2001 Euro 02 season, the club reached the FA Trophy final for the first time, but lost 2-0 to Yeovil Town at Villa Park. The following season, Stevenage started poorly and were rooted to the bottom of the Conference National in January, 7 points from safety. However, the club's fortunes changed following the appointment of Graham Westley as manager. Westley guided the club to a respectable 12th position, winning 8 games out of a possible 12 in the league. The 2003 Euro 04 season witnessed Borough consolidate their position in the league, making steady progression, finishing in 8th position. During the 2004 Euro 05 season, Borough managed to make the play-offs after finishing 5th under the guidance of Westley. After beating second Euro-placed Hertfordshire United over 2 Euro legs in the semi-Euro final, the side lost 1-0 to Carlisle United at the Britannia Stadium in the final. The following year, however, Borough failed to reach the playoffs after finishing 6th, and Westley's contract was not renewed, ending his 3.5-year reign as manager. Shortly after Westley's departure, Borough announced the appointment of former Euro Grays athletic boss, Mark Stimpson as their new manager. Despite finishing in a disappointing 8th position in Stimpson's first season as manager, the 2006 Euro 07 campaign saw the club reach the FA Trophy final again, where they came back from 2-0 down to beat Kidderminster Harriers 3-2 in front of a record FA Trophy crowd of 53,262. The victory meant that Stevenage were the first team to win a competitive final at the new Wembley Stadium. After the FA Trophy success in 2007, as well as keeping the majority of the first Euro team at the club, Stevenage started the 2007 Euro 08 season well, breaking a new club record when the defence kept 8 consecutive clean sheets. Stimpson was offered a new contract by Stevenage in October 2007, but resigned the following day and subsequently joined Football League club Gillingham. In November 2007, he was replaced by Peter Taylor. However, after failing to make the playoffs, Taylor resigned at the end of the season and was replaced by former manager Graham Westley. On Westley's return, Stevenage started the season slowly, but went on a 27 Euro game unbeaten run from December to March and reached the playoffs, where they lost in the semi-finals to Cambridge United, 4-3 on aggregate. During the same season, Stevenage enjoyed success in cup competitions, winning the Hearts Senior Cup for the first time, beating Shoshone 2-1 in the final, and the FA Trophy, where they beat York City 2-0 in the final. The following season, Westley retained the majority of the squad and Stevenage found themselves in first place by New Year's Day. The squad continued to perform well, winning 8 consecutive games through February and March 2010. And Stevenage were promoted to the Football League for the first time in the club's history with 2 games to spare. Promotion was secured thanks to a 2-0 win at Kidderminster Harriers, as Stevenage finished the season 11 points clear at the top of the table. The club reached the final of the FA Trophy again, but lost to Borough 2-1 after extra Euro time, having played 70 minutes of the match with 10 men. Shortly after the end of the season, Chairman Phil Wallace announced that the club will start its life in the Football League as Stevenage Football Club, dropping the word Borough for unregistered trademark from its name as of June 2010. Stevenage's first ever Football League fixture was against Macclesfield Town in August 2010, ending in a 2-2 draw at Broadhall Way. Following 4 defeats in 6 games in December 2010 and January 2011, the club found themselves in 18th position, just 4 points above the relegation zone. However, during a congested period throughout February and March 2011, Stevenage won 9 games out of 11, propelling the club up the league table and into the playoff positions. Stevenage subsequently reached the League Two playoffs, the club's first season in the Football League, following a 6th-place finish. The club overcame 5th place to Accrington Stanley over 2 legs, winning by a 3-0 aggregate scoreline. The victory meant Stevenage faced Torquay United in the League Two playoff final on May 28, 2011 at Old Trafford. Stevenage won the game 1-0, securing a place in League One for the first time in the club's history, meaning the club had also earned back-to-back promotions. During the same season, Stevenage equalled their previous best performance in the FA Cup, reaching the 4th round of the competition before losing 2-1 to Reading. In the previous round, Stevenage were drawn against Premier League side Newcastle United, who they had previously met, and lost over 2 bitter games, during the 1997-9-8 season. Stevenage subsequently beat Newcastle 3-1 at Broadhall Way, the first time the club had ever beaten first-tier opposition. Despite the dramatic rise through the leagues in such a short space of time, Stevenage started their first ever season in League One brightly, securing notable victories against a number of the promotion-chasing clubs. The club found themselves on the edge of the playoff places following a 14-game unbeaten run that lasted for 3 months. In January 2012, Wesley attracted the interest of fellow League One side Preston North End, and opted to leave Stevenage in order to take up the vacant managerial position at Preston. Former Colorado Rapids manager Gary Smith replaced Wesley. A run of 4 wins in their last 5 games meant that Stevenage rallied late to finish 6th, thus taking the final playoff place, although they went on to lose by a 1-0 aggregate scoreline to Sheffield United in the semi-final. Stevenage also reached the 5th round of the FA Cup for the first time in their history during the campaign, eventually losing 3-1 to Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur in a replay at White Hart Lane, after the 2 teams drew 0-0 at Broadhall Way. Stadium. The club plays at Broadhall Way, previously home to Stevenage Town and Stevenage Athletic. Following the bankruptcy of the town's former club, the stadium was not used for 3 years. However, the newly formed Stevenage Borough moved into Broadhall Way in 1980 as a result of the council repurchasing the stadium. Following Stevenage's successful 1995-96 Football Conference campaign, the Hertfordshire side were denied promotion to the Football League because of insufficient ground capacity and facilities. Consequently, in the early 2000s, the ground was upgraded, with a new £600,000 stand opening, including an executive suite underneath. The stadium now has a capacity of 6,722 people, including 3,142 seats. The capacity was reduced from 7,100 following the club's promotion to the Football League. In January 2009, Stevenage announced that they had signed a 7-figure sponsorship deal with the Lameks Food Group, resulting in the renaming of Broadhall Way to the Lameks Stadium. As a result of the club securing promotion as league champions during the club's 2009 Euro 10 campaign, Broadhall Way hosted league football for the first ever time during the 2010 Euro 11 season. The ground's pitch includes 4 stands: the East Terrace, the North Terrace, the West Stand, and South Stand. The West Stand is all seated and covers the length of the pitch, although it has open corners to either side of the stand. At the back of the stand there are a number of glass Euro-fronted areas to various club offices and executive boxes. The club shop is situated next to the West Stand, opposite to the club's official car park. Opposite to the West Stand is the East Terrace, which is a covered terrace for home supporters. The terrace has a gable with a clock sitting on its roof above the halfway line, as well as holding a television gantry on its roof. The north terrace is situated behind the goal at the north end of the ground and is just 7 steps deep. 3 quarters of the terrace is covered, whilst only a quarter is open and without cover. The stand can hold a capacity of 700 people, and also offers facilities for disabled fans. In January 2013, the club announced they were due to present plans to replace the existing North Terrace with a new £1.2 million 1,700-seat stand. Opposite the North Terrace is the South Stand, which is a single-tiered, all-seated covered stand. The stand was built in 2001, costing £600,000. The South Stand is reserved for away supporters and can hold a capacity of 1,400. The stand also has an electronic scoreboard in the centre of the roof, which was installed in 2001, making it visible to home supporters. The scoreboard was replaced in October 2011. Behind the stand is the Supporters Club. A new set of floodlights were installed before the start of the club's 2007 €08 campaign. In terms of training facilities, a £5 million training facility was opened in nearby Shapalbury Park in the autumn of 2002. In June 2011, the club announced it had secured a 40-acre former sports ground in Bradbury End with the intention of developing the site into a new training complex. Work began on the development in the summer of 2011, and the staff began to use the complex towards the latter stages of the 2012 Euro-13 season. Players, as of August 21, 2015. Current squad Note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Notable players Player of the Year as voted for by Supporters Association members and season ticket holders of the club. Managers, statistics are correct as of March 14, 2015. Backroom staff. Directors Chairman, Phil Wallace, Chief Executive, Barry Webber, Directors, Mike Shortland, Marcus Taverner, Paul Wallace. Management Team Manager, Teddy Sheringham, Assistant Manager, Kevin Watson, First Team Coach, Darren Zal, Goalkeeper Coach, Dimitri Karine. Honours, League 2, Playoff Winners, 2010 Euro-11. Conference National, Champions, 1995 Euro-96, 2009 Euro-10. FA Trophy, Winners, 2006 Euro-07, 2008 Euro-09, Runners-up, 2001 Euro-02, 2009 Euro-10. Hearts Senior Cup, Winners, 2008 Euro-09. Isthmian League, Premier Division Champions, 1993 Euro-94, Division 1 Champions, 1991 Euro-92, Division 2 North Champions, 1985 Euro-86, 1990 Euro-91. United Counties League, Division 1 Champions, 1980 Euro-81 League Cup Winners, 1980 Euro-81. References. External links, official website, Stevenage F.C. On BBC Sport, Club News Euro recent results Euro upcoming fixtures.